I think one of the key challenges for creating that lasting impact through social value is accountability and also doing the right thing and knowing what the right thing is to do. We don't want to be ticking hundreds of boxes. It wants to be focusing on key priorities, but as a contractor, understanding what those key priorities are.
I think from sustainable social value is taking the current thought around output-driven numbers to outcome-driven, and actually starting to focus on the stories that come out of social value and why we're actually delivering the schemes we're delivering, rather than just delivering a set of metrics that might not necessarily have full impact on people's lives. From a Muse perspective, it's embedded day to day in every single project. The wider property industry, we've seen some really good examples and some quite bad examples, so having a bit of a minimum threshold to entry and finding a way where how that can be governed we'd strongly encourage.
From my perspective, a key challenge that we're currently facing when we're delivering sustainable social value is the skill shortage. Now, I'm mindful that that's obviously a common theme across the whole construction sector. However, it is important to highlight, if social value is a thing that we want to mandate and we want it to be impactful, life-changing, long-term, we really need to make sure we've got the resource within the sector to be able to fulfil those roles, to fulfil the obligations that we're setting out to achieve. So I think that's a challenge that we currently have and hopefully we can overcome. My biggest takeaway from today's roundtable was the importance of collaboration across all stakeholders involved in delivering social value. It also honed in the importance of making sure everyone's aligned in terms of aims and objectives setting out from the offset of a project. It shouldn't be coming in at REiiF stage 4 or 5 before we go to construction. Social value is something that needs to be early on, it needs to be engaged right at the beginning. We need to have everyone on board together, and I think that honed in on the importance of collaboration.
So I think one of the key challenges facing sustainable social value, I think, is around motivation and why we do it and what do we want to get out of it. And I think sometimes social value has sometimes a reputation sometimes of just being a numbers game and just sort of chasing those numbers. Whereas I think, certainly from my point of view, from a Landsec point of view, it's very much about the motivation behind it, the people behind it, the stories behind it. And I think if you can get that and there's a reason for doing that, then it's easy to spread the word, talk to other people about it, get contractors involved with it. And I speak as this from a developer point of view. So I think the key thing is about that motivation, the reason for doing it, and then I think the next bit will come in terms of then you can do something that is genuinely meaningful.
The other challenge is, making sure you've got that collaborative approach to asking people that live in that community what it is they actually need and what you want them to focus on. And again, it's not a challenge, it's just something you need to recognise and overcome. And the other thing is it takes time, right? So you can't just land a spaceship in a community and expect social value to happen. You have to build those relationships with that local community, that local authority, the occupiers and suppliers to make a real difference, because at the end of the day it's about the relationships and how you're going to change and affect people's lives rather than a product per se.
I think this is a challenge in itself about how big a role is in the wider property industry. It comes down to accountability again and whose responsibility it actually is. It's sometimes put on solely onto the main contractor to deliver that social value and the developer to a certain extent, so the project, the building is fit for purpose. But all the other players that form part of that team do have a responsibility to meet those priorities.
I think the biggest takeaway was that there is this common energy and I think this common will for social value to deliver and to deliver well. And I think the other one is around not just about the figures. It's not just about the figures. It's about the people. It's about the areas, the people, and the communities that we support.